Here is a story that you don't usually hear until it's over. At the point it starts, no one can see it. Right at this moment, it's just coming to be. It's not fiction. It's not make-believe. It's a true story, pre-told. You see, some people tell you that's just the way things are. And that's where our story begins. We won't stand for that. We are visionaries. We are reimagining hospitality, and it's not confined by the walls of a hotel. It's a whole new way to live. The way we see it, it's not an evolution, it's a revolution. A leap into the future. So this is the story of tomorrow. Our story. Because the future belongs to those who design it. And we're going to bring you there first.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Antoine Dubois. I'm SVP of Marketing Strategy as part of the Accor Group. I work on this industry since 8 years now. I worked before on the different entertainment group as Disney or Warner, and I'm very pleased to be with you today to share with you the vision of Accor in this environment where you believe that we are on the edge of change. I will give you some macro perspective about thinking we have around marketing. I'm sure in the next 2 days you will have a lot of specialists going on different methodology, different tools, explaining how to do direct booking. The idea with the organization team was to start by a more macro point of view and showcase that yes, you can do direct booking, but you need a great product, you need a great hotel. And at one point, as I'm an hotel group, hospitality group, we need to be at scale. So explaining you a bit where we believe that we need to move forward, where we have so much brand and what is the ecosystem of the future based on the evolution of our business with OTA, with new players coming. I believe that Amazon and Google are really on the ground and are going to really disrupt. And that's the next disruption for me in our industry after the OTA, after the Airbnb. I think Airbnb coming in the space of distributing hotels, that's something crazy, no? When you think about when they start and they want to showcase that hotel sucks and private rental is the best options, they're coming in our space right now. So it's quite amazing to see. So I start by saying that we are on the edge of change based on all of that. But in fact, the more data that we can share with you today is more than positive things. Positive things in a macro perspective. We know that in the 3-4 years coming, we have a GDP growing around 4 to 5% on our market, which is good. I mean, we know that in the future we can build and structure the future in a macro perspective that is great, and we know that things are going in the right direction for our industry. 4 billion of air passengers last year. 4 billion. And according to some data, we're going to be at 8 million in 2036. Again, it's a massive shift. All these people will need hotels for sure. So we know that it's going to boom. And if you add on that all the urbanity trends you have around the world today, you are around 11 cities who are more than 20 million of people living. In the 10-15 years, you're going to have more than 25 cities with more than 20 million of inhabitants in the world. So if you add all these cities and this urbanity trend around the world, plus the fact that you need to welcome 8 billion people, at one point there's no doubt that you will have to be hybrid at one point and think about new way of welcoming guests and also mixing your local guests at the same time. We see some trend on the lifestyle hotel today on that space, but it's definitely a trend that is going to grow when you think that 50% of the population worldwide is living in a city right now. So the urbanity is going to help the hotel business to to develop at scale for sure, and there's no doubt that the growth is here. You see here the travel and tourist spends, so it's just massive. But what is interesting to see is also the CAGR that you have in the different regions of the world. I mean, even in Europe, we are booming with plus 5%, or Eastern Europe with 8%. But if you look around China and India, it's quite the same. So again, there's also no doubt that we will have to balance the way we welcome also our foreigner guests, and we will have to all learn Chinese and Indian in the coming years. Are you ready to learn Chinese? I'm not, but there's no doubt that it needs to happen. I mean, even in this hotel, you have 5 to 6% of our guests that are coming from India and China. Do they speak China at the reception so far? No. Do they have to in the future? The answer, of course, is yes, and we need to adapt all the systems that is around. For an owner today, it's not a question of growth. Because growth is here and is going to come. Is how you can take the best piece of that cake, a big cake that is growing, based on OTA that are growing every year from 20 to 25% of our revenue and result. Our hotels, hotel brands, hotel groups, as Marriott, as Hilton, as Accor, we are growing from 5 to 7% today, depending the group, or the independent hotels that are growing around for 5 to 6% average. You can still feel that the OTA space is still here and it's still booming, even if we notice some results that are decreasing in different parts of the world. But the piece of the cake and how you can take the biggest part of this cake is something we believe is key and important in our strategy at Accor and for the hotel group for sure, but it needs to be the same for the independent hotel. What we notice as a group, that we discuss more and more with, I would say, a gap of independent hotel versus really family independent hotel. So we can notice that worldwide today, even if you are an independent hotel, they start to regroup themselves in some, I don't have the word that gap to express that, but they want to be strong when they're talking to us and discuss about development. They want to grow and again, when they talked with OTA. So we saw also on a micro level that they start to regroup themselves to be able to showcase and be able to take part of that growth. And it's a mix of risk and a mix of opportunity for them. Because at one point, what is key is who is going to own the consumer and the consumer evolution in the future. If OTAs are boomed since 10 years, it's not because they put money only on Google and things. It's also because they are relevant at one point of a search. When you want to see what is available in one city, you want to have a full spectrum and see all the hotels in Barcelona for your weekend. There's no other space. It's not the yellow page, as you can do that. It's really on one tool that they invented. And today, they are useful at one step of the search for the consumer. So we noticed some consumer evolutions, and we built all of our strategy for the short-term future, and what we did the last 2 years based on that. First one, I will not invent it, you all know that, the connected living, when you're doing bicycle, when you're in your car, when you walk, even when you're listening to me, you are on your phone, and your everyday life is on this tool. Why? Simply because it's simple, because you can take it and be everywhere with it. What can we take it as an insight for our industry? It's not only during the booking path, it's also during the full experiences that a guest can have on in the hotel. I think you're all coming from all over the world. For you to know, in France, a French guy is going to the hotel 1.8 times a year. 1.8 times a year, so let's say 2. So I have 2 occasions to talk with my guests, if they stay with me, if they book direct during the year. On this tool, I mean, it's crazy how brands can talk on the everyday life. So, and that's a shift at one point, and an opportunity for industry we have to make is how we can increase this number of touch points and the moment frequency of touch points with our guests via this tool versus the 2 visits per year they can have in the hotel. It needs to be perfect. The physical universe needs to be perfect. But at one point, that's something we are working on, and that's why we launch a new ecosystem with a dedicated platform to increase the frequency of touch points we can have with our guests. The second one, of course, is lifestyle and experiences. As simple as that. It's linked also with your phone. You want memorable moment, you want to Instagram it, to Facebook it, to be proud of what you buy. And that's something that the hotel industry has to show. Oh, direct booking is going down. So for me, and for us at Accor, we truly believe that the experience is the most powerful form of marketing we have. It's the moment when you own the customer. You can tell them a lot of things, you can make them experience a lot of things, and they can make it as a result that it's something really key. And the advantage of this consumer trend, it's really to think about how you can make things differently of what exists. Today, if you want to develop a website that copy and paste Booking, Expedia, or OTA and things, copy and paste is not enough. I mean, they are better than you. They are better than us of doing that. They're creating it. They have a full team of UX and developers who can test things and make evolution faster than you. So you have to think a bit differently about how you want to structure and how you want to talk to your consumer at this point. So of course, all the hospitality industry, the brands, hotel brands, we deliver consistency. And consistency is a good starting point, and we need to continue to do that. I mean, it's what people request, but it's not enough today. We need to focus on surprising moments and experiences also you can highlight. And doesn't mean you highlight it during the physical space. You cannot also share it and use it for your direct booking. We truly believe that surprising moments and experiences are really what we call the social currency at Accor. I judge on a brand today based on 2 things. The first one is the e-reputation of my hotel, so to check what people say online and everything. It's more important today than my awareness and all this and all these tools that you can have on a qualitative basis. And the second one, of course, is the social engagement that you can have. When we start 8 years ago on the social media space, and I'm sure you will have a full specialist that will cover that in the next 2 days, we decided that hotel doesn't need to have a Facebook page. Don't know why. Let's say we can control them and see what we can do. Now that we opened the doors 5 years ago when we rethink and we look at where people are, because you need to touch people where people are. They want to talk to the hotel. They want to showcase what they did in the hotel. They want to say that they are happy at 80%, not happy at 20% on the hotel. But you need to open the doors and create a social universe that is making really a big power around all of that. So in a sense, on marketing, you have a famous Jeff Bezos who says that you devoted 30% of your time building a great service and 70% to communicate it and do advertising. Today, we just realized that we are, and I fully agree on that, we are at the opposite. We work on a daily basis on the service at 70%, and 30% of my time it's to communicate. But based on all the elements that you receive from your consumer, you can work and rework the service on a daily basis. That is what is the most important. And communicate is the second one. So in a sense, what we are trying to do at Accor in the last 3 years, first thing is to move to owning buildings. That is great. We need people to own that, to owning the customer, because the belief is to make sure that we get the data and we know our best our consumer to be able to drive direct booking and to know them and to surprise them when they stay in our hotel. We move from product-centric to community-centric, to be more social and be able to understand more the needs that they have. And you can see that after you can develop some great lifestyle product that can answer some community. From functional, of course, to experiential, for socialization, transactional for aspiration. And twice a year when you have a regular client and think about how we can touch them on the everyday life. And not touching them by pushing emails that they are not going to click and open, but really making sense and what it means to touch them in the everyday life for a space. So we created a strategy 3 years ago, I know it's coming live, that we call the augmented hospitality. Is how do you keep, of course, your hotel business at the heart of everything we do, but you add at scale some service, some utilities, you deal with some partners to be able to create an ecosystem when you can keep for acquisition and retention objective your clients, your guests in your system. So of course we move on the private rental, we move on the co-working, we move also on a space of private sales with Very Chic. We deal with Flying Blue, with Hertz. We also develop a lot of deal with a company called Paris Society, who owns all the hotel and all the nightclub in Paris and SBE in the world. So the idea was to be able to link all of that. As a silo, they all win money. I'd say practically they all win money. But the main idea of all of that is after how you can regroup them and make sure that they are working together on a global ecosystem. At Accor, I have my Jeff Bezos, it's called Sébastien Bazin, who always says that a brand portfolio is exactly the same thing as a group of friends. Each of your friends brings something different to the table, but you need the table. You need the ecosystem to make sure that they are working together and they are talking and going in the same direction. So to showcase rapidly what we did since 3 years now, maybe most of you know that we are born in the economy and the mid-scale universe, not leading really the universe of premium and luxury, and that's where you have a lot of possibility in the world, mainly in Asia and North America, and we were one brand on the lifestyle. So we moved to that space, to this space, having 38 brands now on the hotel universe, playing a lot on the scale on the luxury, making deals and acquisition to go fast, because when we are talking about going at scale, and you know today OTA and others are moving fast, we need to make fast, so we made a lot of acquisition. And we also focus on the different universe around lifestyle that are able to talk about community. So don't make me wrong, we still have 12 brands that are making 80% of our business. But the other ones, the 28, are here because they are funny, they are sexy, they are attractive. So even if you attract people and want to keep them on our classical brand, after you have something new to offer to them. So it's really complementary with, I will say, Novotel that is 50 years now, or Ibis on the economic scale. It's for us a group of friends, as Sébastien is saying, that we are developing. Some of them are really global and some of them are really regional. When you look again at scale and what we can do, it was important for us to lead the way in Australia. That's why we got the mantra and all of that. And what is interesting about the lifestyle brand today, it's the fact that you talk to community through experiences. 21C, you talked about the heart. SLS and 25, yoo-hoo, it's party time. And people enjoy it, and you can mix really the local with your classical guests, and that's what people expected. Or the lunch of Try, which is around the luxury affordable. A lot of people say that they make luxury affordable on a mid-scale level, but that's something that was not built at scale right now, and we can deal with that. But talking with community is something very key for us. So moving from functional to experiential and be able to balance it on a global and large portfolio, it's exactly the strategy we have today, and you can see that, I mean, goodness, Marriott and Starwood, when they merge, they are dealing with in the same scale, and if we want to go at that speed, we had no choice to make acquisition, to create brand, and to move fast the last 3 years. If not, we will simply disappear in the year coming. The market is booming so fast that we need to go fast. So of course, I will not go through that, by heart, but again, when we talked about a brand, we focus on 4 main things, and we forgot the rest, but focus, of course, on product, made the put on design. Programming is an interesting one when we are pushing a lot more than promotion today. Programming is how can you make events defining a passion of your brand. For example, Ibis, the passion is the music, and how you can activate it in all your properties to make it social after and make the best of content you can have on social media. So we select a passion, French luxury for Sofitel, the music for Ibis, and the programming is how you develop at scale in all your properties this program to make sure it resonates after on the social media and things. It creates great content coming directly from the users and from your guests. People, of course, it's a major thing for us. Also, we rethink about some key touch points. Nothing new, I think, on your side, but it's always good to showcase and remember to all of you, because you're going to talk a lot about acquisition first, direct booking, to remind them after you have a consumer journey during the physical moment when you can have some markers that are key to develop your brands. And of course, the most important things on what we are working on is what we call the brand margin. So we ask people, 40,000 around the world every year, okay, let's say you have a choice between an independent hotel and a brand hotel. How much will you be pleased to pay more than an independent hotel based on the brand? And that's how we judge today also our brand, is to say, well, for a Raffles versus a luxury hotel in that space, I'm ready to pay 300 euro more, example. Cannot show you data on that, I apologize. But I think you get the idea, and we are doing that every 6 months based on e-reputation, based on the social environment. We are able also to judge if a brand is growing or if a brand is going down, and we need to be more attractive on that space. So on the brand, that's the main things. After we had to rethink and recreate what are the ecosystem to link what we call the augmented hospitality, because you have a portfolio brand working quite as a silo when you talked about the physical world, but when you talked about the digital world, we decided to rethink that space and to launch something. So we move Accor on the side, saying it's a great brand for B2B and corporate, but it does not resonate as a lifestyle brand, I would say, for people. So we thought about a name, and we find all. Accor Live Limitless, an acronym that was quite surprisingly not trademark, so we were pleased to take it and to own it, and to think about what can be the future of our two tools, AccorHotel.com, which is a great tool of reservation, but it's a simple, today if you look at it, it's a simple copy and paste of Booking and Expedia, so we need to make an evolution. And also Le Club Accor Hotel with 50 million of members. And at one point we believe that, okay, we have on one side a distribution tool, nothing really specific, a good one, but selling our brand, but nothing specific, and Le Club on the other side. And we simply decide by the end of the year to regroup them on a single platform to offer something quite a bit different. I will show you the video.
Imagine a lifestyle loyalty program on a single platform where you can live, work, and play seamlessly personalized to you. You, your style, your way. Discover a world of experiences and extraordinary partnerships, and be rewarded for all that you do. Every day, on the move, all in one place. Welcome to all. Accor Live Limitless. All for one. All for you.
So the idea is to develop a platform not only to distribute on our brand, but it will be, of course, in the middle of everything we do. But it's also a way to showcase that you can acquire and doing the experience mainly with our brands, because that's our famous brands. They are well known, and how we can start to attract people on that. But the retain and the revisit needs to be linked with all, because we can diversify the experience and showcasing what we call the live, the work, and the play. The live, you have the hotel. The work, you have all the co-working universe we are developing with brands like Nextdoor, Wojo, all the F&B, the local services we are developing. So all will be not only a platform when you can book a night for sure, but you can have some diversity. 4 key points, but I'm sure the You will cover that in the next 2 days. A platform today based on the learning we have on all the mobile app universe is 4 main points. Because they want it all. Well, that's the joke. Let's move on. So simplicity is the first one, immediacy the second one, personalization. It's a major trend we have in our hospitality, and no one is able right now to showcase really personalization except email and retargeting and things. That's something we really focus on. And of course, the beyond the stay. The beyond the stay, it's the touch. When you believe that if you want to have more touch points and more moments to talk with our consumer in the future, you need to have some moments called beyond the stay that is not linked automatically with the stay. But the big cheek of all, you can say it's a loyalty program, of course, for sleep, for sure. But that's what we are doing today. Huh? All the reward that's linked on the sleep, but you will reward it for all what you're doing. Even if you go on a restaurant and you don't stay, you're having a bar, you're going to a nightclub, and all these elements. So simplicity, very simple. What we call is around the clarity of course, of the price architecture and fluidity. The most important one is what we call the speed index, mainly in China and others. It needs to go fast and download, so you need to have really pages with a minimum of information on that. Immediacy, I'm sure you will cover that. You know the frequency of usage we have today with our mobile, 150 times number of time you check our phone every day. So it's, of course, you need to be on that. And immediacy, it's also around the gratification. When you are part of a club, of a loyalty program, you get points, you have to wait long time. Now we need to be something tangible, and gratification needs to come very early. Personalization, of course, 84% are pleased to have personalization, but what does that mean really for our website? That's something we are clearly have to work on, and I don't think in our industry we were able again to personalize. And the last thing I want to share, I'm sorry I'm a bit late, but when we think about beyond the stay, there's many possibilities. If you want to touch people on every day with ticketing, we own the Accor Hotel Arena here, for example. We have the spa, the home entertainment, the retail, the restaurants and bars. So for sure, that's something that can be integrated into all. And the night at one point will just be the starting point of all what you can do as part of all. On the move, of course, when you are on the mobility, and everywhere with unique experience and thing. We made a big study before launching all of that. 3 passions for our guests. Maybe not a surprise for you, but first one, dining. F&B, we all love to eat great. So people want to eat in our hotel, but not only. That's why we are building a system with a different partner to showcase that we can do things. And it's reading, unfortunately, it's very small, but nothing we can do so far. Entertainment is number 2, and sport is number 3. And that's why we are building an ecosystem with partner, with Test, that is an English company around the F&B, doing great events with chef. EEG, of course, is all the arena in the world to be able to push people to use their points and to enjoy a lifestyle moment, memorable moment of that. And of course, the Paris Saint-Germain deal that we announced in March, same time as Marriott announced the deal with Manchester United. That's funny, not planned. Well, don't know. Things can happen like that. So we are creating simply a new model. When you have a guest engagement, you have all the awareness of our brands and the price notions. You have a personalization and the experience on one side, the partnership in the middle, and of course with partnership you are also making money for the economic model. So the new loop, if I would say on a group, will be also always, of course, to focus on our brands, but to also how we are able to highlight this partnership and showcase that we can create elite experiences, new experiences for our guests. And we truly believe that, well, we talked about direct bookings, by this model, by this new tool called All, that is really different from OTA, that is really different from other loyalty program today in that space, we will be able to increase our direct booking. So concluding forward, 3 things. Consumer trend, as you can see, and the growth of the market can create a new momentum. and great business impact on the future. Brands and reality are in focus. Never forget the brands when we're talking about all what we are doing. Brands are key because it's part of the physical world. And be focused on passion. If you are able to focus on passion, you touch people in the heart, not only for their money, but they will spend money if you touch them with their passions, and that's something quite attractive when you think about that space. I wish you a limitless day. I don't know if it's a good expression in English, and I'll be here with you in the morning to debate if you want. Thank you so much.